All right, guys, for some shop improvements we've done recently, we built this cart, and we've got labeled here what they're for some of our drops. We do all of our breakdowns on an old panel saw and table saw, so we have some standard sizes that we use and some sizes we want to keep. They used to just get strewn all over the place, so we built this cart. It's easy to move if we need to. It's burned buggy. Has been great. We leave it right here beside the table saw. We used to have this in buckets. They got carried out to our burn barrel. We're out in the country, so we just have a 55-gallon drum we burn stuff in, and this makes it much easier to take stuff outside. Put this saw station on casters so that we can actually rearrange the shop easier when we need to. This used to be attached to the saw. Where is it at? Over here. So when we separated them, we needed some infeed. So we went to Amazon, got these little brackets. I don't think I can do it one-handed. Yeah, I can. So there you go. It just folds down out of the way when you don't need it, and it gives you some infeed support when you do. There's like a 600-pound rating on that, so plenty for what we need. Have gone to these shapers. I've been reading about the advantages to an outboard shaper fence so that you don't have to deal with the split in the fence here with short material that can get sucked in there. So I made this today using some 80/20 parts, just aluminum extrusion. And the cool thing is you don't have to size your parts perfectly. So this gives you the size. This is one of our standard sizes for our cabinet ends, and we've got it labeled now red-green. So what you do is you slide that in there. You can do this with the shaper running. You loosen these two knobs. I guess I better put the other one in too. So you've got your spacer in there. You push it up to the spacer. That zero block gives us a full cut, and then you lock it in place here. Pull the spacer out, and you're ready to go. So on the fly, we can go between all of our standard sizes here. I just found some aluminum that we had sitting around, cut this stuff on the table saw. And the 2 1/4 and the 1.5 inches were the real reason for this green and red. It's 2 inches wide, 2 1/4 tall, so it'd be really easy to get in there the wrong direction. And now this will tell us, stop, don't do that. Now you're good to go. So another recent improvement on our door clamp. We used to have all this water and glue down here under the table and our gun and everything over here. Well, I'm kind of a tall guy and I got tired of reaching down there for it. So I asked the guys, what do you think? And they said, yeah, let's move it up. And so far everybody's loved it. It's at working height, much nicer. We also added this tape measure on some magnets. It's one that was broken. And now if your door's 36 inches long, you don't have to measure it first to figure out where to put the clamps. You can just look down there and get it close. And that's been really nice also. Couple more things right here. We put both these machines, they were already on casters, but this was on a caster like this that you had to step on, and it raised the table up, and it was putting a bind in that section. So we put it on locking casters, so now we can move it more easily. On our floor sweep one day I was like, that thing doesn't seem to have much suction, so we added that piece of plywood on the top. And these floor sweeps are great. We built them to fit a 2-foot broom, so when we sweep, we just sweep it up and it takes it all at once. There's no fuss with it. Works really well. One of our most used improvements has been this. So we use these PEX-like airlines, and when we rearrange, we might need airline drops in different places, so we've got these air hose reels. We put them on these slinky hoses here, and then up here I put a regulator and a 5-way splitter so we can add them wherever we need. So we've got one on this end of the shop. We just recently added one on the other end of the shop. It only has one in it currently, but that gives us the opportunity to do drops wherever we need them. We also added a light At the bathroom, I've seen other people do this to let us know when somebody's in there. We've got motion switches, and when that light comes on, this light comes on. So if I'm in the office 100 feet away, I can tell if it's occupied. I don't have to walk down here to find out. We also added lights upstairs, and this is a disaster. And I was up here one day and I went, well, probably the reason it's a disaster is because it's dark. Nobody wants to come up here. So we've just, with the lighting, hopefully, it'll give us the opportunity to come up here, get some shelving, do some organizing, make it a lot easier to use while we're up here. Here's an improvement that I'm not particularly proud of. This building was used. We bought it laying on the ground in Birmingham and built it ourselves. Well, we put the roof back on it and it leaks in a couple of places. So what we did here, when we moved this saw over here, is we had to mark on the table where to put our bucket so that we know, if you see that line there, if we leave that bucket there, it catches the water and we don't have to worry about it. We're going to eventually have to get a new roof. If you look around, you'll see buckets several places. There's one there. There's a couple up there. Luckily, they're all on the extremity. There's one in front of that window, and there's one behind the door clamp. So, again, I'm not proud of those things, but we've found where they are. Just a simple way to catch the water, keep it off the machinery until we can save the money to get that fixed. This cabinet here is a cabinet that we designed wrong. It wouldn't fit the house. I don't remember if it was something about a double oven. So what we did, attached it to the wall here, and we're going to be using it for our shaper tooling. So we've got pieces here to build tray parts, and we're going to fill it up with all our cutters because the shaper's here, and we can keep everything in here. We've got a little bit in there already. Nope, not that one. Not very organized yet, but kind of an idea. And then here we're just going to fill this up with as many rollouts as trays as we can get to fill those up with shaper tooling. In the office now, we finally broke down, got a cheap laminator for these kanban pieces that Quantum Lean sells. These things are amazing, fit their printouts perfectly. So I've been going through and making as many kanbans as I can, trying to get the guys to get involved in that, and I'm not having much luck yet. But one last thing here, been having trouble getting guys involved in making improvements. A lot of times it's me kind of pushing the train, pulling the train, whatever you want to call it. So here on these boards, we've got some long-term improvements, some of the things we're hoping to do down the road. We've also got here that we can do right away. And what I did is I went through and I delegated some of this to some of the people. That way they don't have to think about it. They can just come in, look at the board and say, okay, I'll take care of that. Anytime